Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga. Kia mā kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai, e hiaki ana te atākura he tio, he huka, he hauhunga. Ti hei Māori ora tēnā koutou katoa. Can I first take the opportunity to acknowledge the original Wai262 claim visionaries. At the time, they saw the pressing need to protect the taonga, those treasures that are so revered and precious to us as Māori. During my time as the previous Minister for Māori Development, I was concerned by the fact that the Wai262 claim had been left to languish, with the exception of some progress on te reo Māori, but we still have more to do. Like many of you, I understood just how important it was to advance the substantial parts of the claim, and more importantly, to honour those visionaries who knew that the benefits of their effort would eventually be shared by all Māori from every hapu and iwi. Today, we honour them with deep gratitude. I also want to acknowledge Te Taumata Whakapūmau, which includes representatives who whakapapa to the original claimants, as well as those from each of the claimant iwi. Ngā iho pūmanawa, made up of practitioners, kaitiaki, creatives and technicians who are panellists at this hui. You all deserve recognition for your contribution. To those here in attendance and those working online on Tiaki Taonga Solutions, tēnā koutou katoa. Unfortunately, I regret that I cannot be with you in person today, as I'm currently with the Wabanaki people in Maine, USA. It feels like no small coincidence to be here in the first state that was colonised some 500 years ago. I've gained a striking insight into the detrimental impacts this colonial legacy has had on the Wabanaki language, culture, traditional practices, its people as they continue to fight for their rightful place in their contemporary world. There is much we can learn and certainly much we can share with other Indigenous peoples like the Wabanaki, so that together we can accelerate the shift towards a more prosperous, thriving future for our children and our mokopuna. As this symposium draws on your collective knowledge and experience, the task ahead will be dynamic solutions, but we must be strategic and purposeful in our approach. While I do not intend to delve into the specific aspects of the Wai262 claim, I would like to offer some thoughts on the opportunities inherent in this important work that you have committed yourselves to. Just as our ancestors were unafraid to venture forth to explore and establish a thriving future, so too must we consider what that means for our time. Climate change poses an existential challenge to humanity's existence. For Indigenous peoples around the world, it compounds the impact on our communities. We need to gather our intelligence, our knowledge holders, and apply that to what we value and protect those things to ensure that our mokopuna have the essence of what they need to grow, thrive, and prosper. We must also be adaptable. The strategy required will need to be multi-layered and flexible, able to adjust to changing patterns. Let me explain that a bit further. This symposium presents an opportunity for you all to come together and craft a Tiaki Taonga strategy, an implementation plan, more than a guidebook, an action plan that aligns with the aspirations of those visionary leaders. They knew that if we remain united in purpose, our well-being will flow from that, and that will inevitably flow to our mokopuna. Our efforts will galvanise a sense of kotahitanga and mana motuhake, but let us not forget that kotahitanga is a verb. It is something we must actively pursue and practice. When we do it, it leads to a state of mana motuhake so that we can truly be the architects of our own destiny and move more confidently as Māori into the future. What we decide today will matter for tomorrow. And as I mentioned earlier, we need to be adaptable in executing a multi-layered strategy. Here's the thing. Our creatives, our artisans, our writers, our filmmakers, our performers, they're already venturing into new places and spaces, shaping how we as Māori engage with the world. We've already had a number of trading and commercial relationships which rely on our cultural distinct products and services that we send to market. Our generation of tech-savvy adventurers are engaging with technology, data and artificial intelligence in a way that ensures we will not be left behind in the growing wave of change and transformation that will occur. We have Māori participating in all sorts of ways in spaces and places that urge us to be dynamic in our approach to protecting and utilising traditional knowledge and tikanga. We must continue to be vigilant and apply tikanga to ensure that another form of cultural appropriation does not take place by our own hands, where our own blatant disregard creates unnecessary challenges to our collective project of being responsible stewards of our future, where we all benefit. Indigenous intellectual property, benefit sharing, ethical research and responsible commercialisation will present important challenges and opportunities that we need to discuss. And in order for us to address this, we need to do it now. We need to be intentional, otherwise we do risk being left behind. One thing has always been clear to me: nothing can be left to chance. If we're confident in our ability to protect our taonga, and if we challenge existing legislative frameworks to design our own ways of safeguarding Indigenous intellectual property, if we create a benefit sharing regime that is hardwired into the economic backbone of our country, then the challenges we face will be good problems to have, and they will enable us to seek out new opportunities. Each session of this symposium has been designed so that you can engage, provide feedback, and have a discussion on these types of issues. As you contribute to the symposium, I invite you to reflect on why designing a Tiaki Taonga plan is such an important focus in the months and years ahead. Let us garner support from every sector to contribute to the outcomes we seek. Let us remind ourselves that this work will contribute to the state of order that we are building for ourselves and the next generation. And that's important because we need to be resilient. While the current political environment may not be conducive to things Māori, the world is responding to the innovation and creativity we generate. Our excellence is being displayed internationally in sports, in cultural arts and performances, in technological innovation in health, and in Indigenous solutions for environmental care. We must pursue those opportunities. In closing, we've been reminded that the wisdom of our tupuna, our ancestors who knew the value of those taonga that they passed down, require safeguarding for all of us for the future. Our challenge now is to continue that legacy with the same vigour, strength, unity and foresight. So let's make this symposium the master plan commitment to our taonga, one that requires us to be focused and intentional, one that puts the mokopuna at the middle of our thinking. When you leave this symposium, I encourage you to carry forward the ideas and inspiration that have emerged from your discussions and put them into solid action points. Stay connected, stay purposeful, and remember that our collective strength lies in our shared vision and dedication for a prosperous and thriving future. Now, the journey ahead is not going to be straightforward, and there will be some challenges. Kotahitanga and mana motuhake is something we all aspire to achieve, but it is a verb that creates a state of being. Ki te kotahi te kākoho, ka whati. Ki te kāpuia, e kore e whati. Nō reira, ka waihotia e nei kōrero mā koutou anō hei whakarohia. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.